What is going on? Dun, 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 dun. Shout out to the J Vic. Yo, I think his name is Jay Bitter Music, bro. When I heard of this man, this is so valid. Lo-fi, study, chill music, and it's all ruthless aggression. I wouldn't have asked for something better. This is outstanding. But what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the DST show. We are live. How's it going? This is tough. I'm gonna push Collision. We have a couple headlines to go over. Of course, the major thing is Friday Night Smackdown. After a poor return, I would say considerably, this has been a disappointing 2025 when you're talking about WWE booking in general. When we wanted who we wanted to book, didn't really end up as much so. I would say I feel like it's over exaggerated. When we look at the numbers per se, you would say kind of 2019 ish. You would say it's kind of 2019 ish. Who am I? I'm not involved in the wrestling business. I'll have like Collision going off in the background. Speaking of Collision, I want to start over with current, a former WWE star. I think people would know her more for her work on NXT. Who in the chat remembers Tegan Knox? Well, she doesn't go by that name anymore because of the non-compete clause, and they're opening the show. Who is that? Magic Mike? Daniel Garcia going against his former cheerleader and jumping him in the Death Riders are trying to get him off of him. And Jay Lethal, bro, I keep forgetting he's employed. You get jumped before match. Dynamite Kid Tommy. This is all before his 6-man tag. Well, we're starting with the fuckery already on AEW. What did I expect? What did I? But I want to transition. Oh my god! I want to transition into another, an actual topic that's going on involving former NXT talent Tegan Knox that got herself in the headline for, I guess, a poor reason after sandbagging a German suplex and going over time in the middle of a mid-card match. Her full government name is Nixon Noel. No, it's Stephanie Ronan Noel. So I guess she's going sort of by her full gov, and her and her partner, like romantic partner that are legitimately a tag team, got themselves over to the headlines for negative reasons. It says over here in the Sportster. The professional wrestling industry can be wild and unpredictable one. So always need for professionalism. The talent do what it's asked for if they want to have a successful career, reputation, and travel in the industry. And if someone builds up a negative one, it's profound impact. So they're already building over the lack of accountability that Tegan Knox has, or Nixon Noel. So she's going over a new name. She's already not really that much of an establishment, even though like she built over her brand over on NXT, but you're practically still an enhancement talent beforehand if you're there for a cup of coffee. Now I know Tegan Knox coming out of his ACL injuries, because most of the time I hear her being massively injury prone. And most of that's beyond her control. But you'll understand like further on what's the problem with this picture. Sorry, trying to hydrate here. Just came from a walk beforehand. I have to burn off all that birthday pizza, guys. I would have done a birthday stream, but I had family over. However, it doesn't mean that wrestlers are happy just to accept a certain creative and booking decision that might not like. Egos in wrestling are a significant issue. Many are taking advantage of this over the years, simply uh, walking out of shows rather than fulfilling request. Oh, so a reference to Naomi and Sasha Banks. Nixon Noel and Miranda Aliza, her partner, in a tag match, walked out before Collision even stopped airing. Most recent example: wrestlers walking out and showing Tegan Knox working as Nixon Noel in a tag team match with Miranda Alize. Is scheduled to compete November 8th episode of AEW Collision against Ty Mello and Anna Jay. The match never took place. The independent stars opted to walk out of the taping, disagreeing with the idea presented by them. They were set loose in a 3-minute match, which a tag team didn't think was beneficial to them to be involved. Noel and Eliza, excuse me if I get it wrong, have claimed that everything was agreed upon when they left. Numerous reports have stated that they left the show, resulting in damage to their reputation within AEW. Oh yeah, I think this came over sandbagging Marina Shafir. Was it Marina Shafir? No, it's Megan Bain's German suplex. It was Megan Bain's double German suplex that she was supposed to do on the inestablished enhancement talent trying to push over for new contracts, and then they go over time. Guys, who's in the wrong here? You're an enhancement talent time slot in the middle of a televised product that's pushing over a schedule. You're not that important to be doing that. And Nixon Noel, you're pushing over a new rebrand. You're already not established as like a Shotzi Blackheart to even try to establish to push over time. Are you a mark? Oh, we were, this is not beneficial to them. This is not beneficial to the fans. I wanted to get more of my shit in. I feel like we would have worked the crowd. And you're just underestimating us. Like you, and I've watched a video involving. I gotta look up the content. I gotta shout them out. If you guys know Stevie Richards, formerly a member of BWO from the ECW roster, and he's a former Ruthless Aggression mid carder. He has and TNA. He used to be also part of TNA. So this is a guy who's been around the block. He's made money. He's came around working over for big federations. So you got to take, even though they're not John Cena resume, you got these guys making a living still off the situations that they got. And there's probably guys that's been there worse. Now, Tegan and Eliza just fumbled the bag for working a couple matches and building over their and selling a couple spots, and that could have built over a reputation to make them all elite. Say what you will about AEW, they will make sure you're paid handsomely for being one of the top workers. You don't hear anything about mismanagement when it comes to financial beneficiaries. They've been able to afford established stars like Sting. They afford guys like Chris Jericho. They afford guys like CM Punk. So saying that it would be an undermining, and you're trying to fumble that bag if they can afford that and Mercedes Moné, and you're not trying to at least press over to that bag and work. Sometimes, especially in a performance-based opportunity like professional wrestling, your impression does matter. And if your first day on the job, after being an enhancement talent, barely worked out, and you were just stuck over shortcomings, and you're not trying to bite the bullet and work a couple matches so you can work with, you know, get yourself over with the people in the back, make sure they can trust you all the time and they can push you over as a good reference. That's not gonna look good on your resume, bro. That's embarrassing. So I apologize. And they already referenced this to Sasha Banks and Naomi. And Naomi has returned over to the company and made a reputation for herself. And she's more at least recognizable to establish over a disagreement with booking, even though they were coming over as women's champions. And Naomi has tenure. And I'm not saying that you can't have input over to the booking, but there's got to be a level of trust that certain bookers are going to have. Even mid carders, lower mid carders, push their input over the guys they need to work with, or what spots they would be considered safe, or if it would make sense, because these guys have a reputation, and the booker or the creative can trust them over in Gorilla before they go ahead with it. Like, it's that simple. It's like the same thing in a football team. Sometimes you got to bite the bullet. You play a position you don't want, but you got to do the best of over your ability so the coach can trust you. And Tegan couldn't even do all that, as well as Eliza for sandbagging, going over their time, and then walking out of a job opportunity to get you guys a legitimate contract. Who else outside of WWE and AEW is going to pay you that amount of bread? Even no one's saying that you have to make Britt Baker money. No one's saying you have to make Thunder Rosa money. If I'm walking out with an annual wage while working a match and probably more if I get a pay-per-view pay job, I'll do it. You work with Orange Cassidy. You need to know how to work, bro. And these are coming and sometimes you gotta know this. You're biting the bullet as a professional wrestler. Because even like guys that we know as established stars, they were biting the bullet knowing who they had to job to before getting over and becoming stars themselves. We had Cody Rhodes getting bitch slapped live on TV before we know him as a headliner on SmackDown. I mean, mind you, we've seen the ratings, but besides that, like, he's an established main eventer now. He was getting pimp slapped and marked around as Randy Orton's lackey before he even had an opportunity. Most of the time, he was just tagging along, getting under the ropes with guys like Bob Holly. Like, get over yourself, Tegan Knox. That's embarrassing. I expect a lot more from like professional wrestlers nowadays to know that something doesn't come easy. And guys will just go over there and take it. We have content creators. BDE will work a match on TNA even though we know he's probably not going to win. And guess what? He has a higher chance of earning a better opportunity to work over with a company like WWE to expand his brand than Tegan Knox does paying her next amount of rent. Explain that to me, bro. Dumbass. Come on, dog. Absolutely embarrassing. And I'm not saying that out of pure hate. I hope Nix and Noel and Eliza make a good living. Hopefully, AEW calls them over again, but that's probably burnt bridges at this point. And knowing that this is a reference to CM Punk walking out of the Royal Rumble back in 2014 after falling out with Vince, when Neville walked out of the WWE after literally matching up with Kalisto. And Jerry the King Lawler back in 2001 after his relationship with Kat flourished and then he got signed back into the WWE. Gail Kim, there's been situations where we would have burnt bridges, but they kept it over as professionals. At least I can take the face value of Punk's opinion because he's been around the block. You've barely done anything of note. That's embarrassing, bro. Now, over to the major headliner to the title. Friday Night SmackDown is coming back to 3 hours. I repeat, Friday Night SmackDown is back to 3 hours. I apologize. Friday Night SmackDown's back to 3 hours, folks. Sorry. Sincerely, I'm sorry. And this was kind of a given because they need to compensate for the lack of viewership. But monetizable profit. Oh, Pac's talking. Thank God. I have a reason to mute. Let me hear what he's saying. Pac is wearing a singlet when he has the best physique in the ring. He looks like a vaudevillain. To be fair, he would have worked looking good as a vaudevillain. Dobby! Like, William Leviosa! What the fuck? For the love of God! We're 1 week away from Full Gear. Okay, we haven't gotten the ratings after the downfall of the ratings after the Halloween. I don't know if they still recouped after that. I swear, Pat gotta stop sounding like he's catching the snitch and you're trying to break a man's legs. And he's a great wrestler. That's the sad part. After all the visa mishap, all his booking kind of got screwed after the pandemic. Garcia, Daniel Garcia still air hump. All right. And I bet it's still antagonizing Darby Allen. Okay, here's the news. Friday Night Smackdown is now moving back to 3 hour format during the January 2nd, 2026 episode, according to reports. This month. Decision follows a period where the show is temporarily extended 3 hours January 2025 before returning 2 hour format July 2025 in the USA. They were reportedly pleased with the 3 hour formatting performance, leading to the recent decision reverted for a longer runtime. You can watch the video to see some arguments to favor the extended. The only benefit is just pushing extra revenue. And nobody's disagreeing with that over a business standpoint when it comes, if you guys are watching any of the reports involving pushing this back. But performance wise, the only thing that's going to be pleasable to appeal to TKO is monetizable revenue over the commercial breaks. The amount of ads you can push over this because it's not streaming. Because guess what? This has been probably the weakest Friday Night Smackdowns over peak Bloodline storylines. If we're being honest with ourselves, honestly, if we're coming back from how it was around like 2022, 2023, as well as like the appeasement of CM Punk coming back, Cody Rhodes headlining and trying to chase over the Bloodline, Jey Uso emerging out of the tag team, and a bunch of up and comers involving LA Knight. Not Penta. Phoenix coming in. Logan Paul is developed over as an established talent, and we just established so much over like the PLE system and the new formatted match structure. WWE was over the right department. There was so much stuff dragged. They just pushed all over the wayside this year. And I'm not trying to say that's like the worst year of WWE, but like the way WWE formats themselves episodically will make you feel like it's 2019 when it was back to SmackDown Live on a Tuesday for 3 hours, at 2 hours while you're watching Monday Night Raw on a 2 hour, 3 hour format. Now you're getting six primary shows of professional wrestling. And that's not including also NXT. And if any of you guys are bored somehow, you guys watch Speed because you're gooning at work and you still need to use your Twitter. And don't get me wrong, I know your ex has some explicit content. So y'all bugging out. All because the ratings aren't feasible enough to profit right now after getting 900K, and now y'all got to recoup over your ad revenue. Because let's keep it a buck. Friday Night SmackDown sucks right now. Like, Friday Night SmackDown really does suck. Out of what we're getting with the, at least with the Vision, they've at least pushed over the foreshadow pushes that were supposed to appease around WrestleMania. Jey Uso at least trying to evolve his character. AJ Lee came back. While SmackDown has been carried over Damian Priest uh, storyline that went nowhere. John Cena's heel run that's been absolutely disappointing. Cody Rhodes just being a placeholder world champion. It never feels like he's the face of the company. It never feels like he can carry over a promo. He's just a sub-average worker that just looks more important enough to hold the belt nowadays. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with y'all. The reason why you guys got 900,000 for your views for Friday Night SmackDown is because you guys just weren't attractive enough to watch. Come on, man. Be honest with yourself. I can be honest with myself too. Sometimes my content isn't good enough because I don't add enough or I don't chop enough of what needs to be done to make sure I can attract the maximum amount of viewership my content holds. That's how it is for WWE. No one's really itching to see another Ilya Dragunov match. All they know is that he's a great wrestler. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that doesn't make him appealing. And now they're showing Tony Storm. Oh, oh my. What the fuck? Some a grifter shit? Oh yeah, we still have the AEW Women's Tag Team Title Tournament anyway. Guys, boy. Well, here comes Mark Briscoe. Well, Mark Briscoe's up for a debut now. Oh God, no! Not Leangelo Ball's music, please no. Well, Mark Briscoe's up for competing now after the six-man tag involving the Death Riders and a promo by Timeless Tony Storm. Okay. Oh, it seems like Margaret started cooking. That's not a real person, by the way, folks. Please not be a real person. I'm not trying to dock somebody. Okay, I want to see start point, the starting day 3 hour format. USA Network positive reaction from the performance added. So why calendar year to wait after protests to return back to 2 hours, showing previous 3 hour runs in the first half of 2025 before shortening it back to 2 hours. Well, the only thing is that maximize profits over the TKO. Performance wise, it will feel so dragged out. There is wrestling burnout, guys, and whatever you think will happen, you'll just get longer matches with longer segments, and it never feels like it's gonna end. If you think you can handle a 3 hour episode of Monday Night Raw, and you can transition over to a 3 hour episode of Friday Night Smackdown when you're already getting record low views that you haven't seen since like 2019, when we had Braun Strowman being a Universal Champion. Like, yeah, y'all got to go back to when Kofi was WWE. Y'all didn't even see the numbers for that shit when Kofi Kingston was, when y'all were glazing over the 2 months that Kofi had was being the fan favorite, and then everybody like forgot how Kofi was getting booked so badly that they completely erased any of his storylines. You don't see anybody references legendary feuds with with Kevin Owens in anywhere. Nobody ever references the feuds. All they do is just blame Brock Lesnar that he's the nigga killer when it comes to world title runs because he beat Lashley and Big E and Kofi. Blame Vince for that, but then you complain when Carmelo Hayes doesn't get booked. Type shit. Okay, and this would be the most undermining stuff you hear from wrestling fans because y'all take it like Kofi Kingston was just fumbled. Under 5 years into the wrestling business, Kofi has been in WWE roster. This nigga has been booked probably better than Booker T was back in 2011, back in 2003, back in 2006. People say it's still big Booker T with King Booker winning the world title, and now Kofi is a multi-time. He is a Grand Slam, by the way. He has the longest reigning record as the tag team champion, multi-time United States and Intercontinental champion, winning the Elimination Chamber. He's been in at least the most Elimination Chambers as a black man, and he's headlined and beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. He's a Hall of Famer instantly on the Hall of Fame. No one's going to complain over in the history books that Kofi hasn't had a legendary career. That is a dumb take. You grifting over that Vince McMahon degrades black talent while he was under the helm. Most of what Triple H has been doing is carried by what Vince already foundation. And I'm not even saying that to Glaze. That's ready. Oh, that's Randy Orton's. And Mark Briscoe going 1-on-1. That Trent Seven? So Mark Briscoe in a 1-on-1 match. That's not Trent Seven, but it's some fat nigga. Hey! Oh, Mark Briscoe getting taken to the ropes, and he's tossed out. I'm one of the 15 people that watch Collision, folks. Peak that I'm helping a third world country. You could put Ring of Honor in here instead of Collision. Be serious. I mean, I don't mind a B show for a Prime Network if you want to add more content for bookings. But about of all the guys, Mark Briscoe's in the storyline, right? Is he still feuding with MJF? Ooh, reverse elbow. And he's facing this guy that looks like he fits in Ring of Honor. Oh, abdominal stretch. Oh, this Ric Flair. Oh, there's that clothesline again. Who is this guy? Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. Oh, and that shop. And Moxley is still on commentary, even though he has no association with the Callis family or the Confederation. Oh, I'm joking. I know that's not their name. I know that's not their name. Chill. Chill. I know that's not their name. Chill. Chill, homie. I know what I'm doing. Come on, I changed. I didn't go full Gov Booker. I mean, our truth. My fault, fam. You know I love you people. You know I love you people. Oh, and now Mark Briscoe building up the momentum. He's gonna say it. Oh, and a chop. I think we got some NFL losses due to injury, by the way. And I think one more loss is somehow the Jets are still not out the playoffs. Trading chops, trading blows. I swear to God, you do that shit, I'm gonna get pissed off. Everything was looking good, Mark. You were working the match great, and then you do the one dumbass thing I hate wrestlers doing. They do their little pose when they're about to work the ropes, and you know it's a reversal, dog. That's a pet peeve of mine, dog. Don't do that dumb shit, dog. Going for straight for a vertical suplex, and it gets his over to a full package too. No, Inzaguri into a boot. Fisherman suplex, and Mark Briscoe has him right where he wants him. Going high risk. Does any big storylines really happen on Collision, or is this just a warm-up show still? Because Tegan Knox debuted here and got somehow lost a job opportunity so in that quickly. Who they have running Collision? Is it the same thing where they have like Road Dogg running Raw creatively, running Lariat after countering Mark Briscoe off the ropes? Word life. This is basic thugonomics. This is basic thugonomics. Word life. I'm untouchable, but I'm forcing you to feel me. Pause. Word life. This basic thugger. This is basic word life. Oh, gonna run over the barricade while Briscoe was sitting like a duck and gets collided. Seriously, who is this guy? I thought this was Trent Seven. He's wearing the high trunks. He looks top heavy. Hopefully, he's not English. And he wears a towel on his head because I know he used to be on TNA. Trent Seven. He was tagging with Mike Bailey before Mike Bailey made the jump to AEW. Oh, the chair's getting involved in a big boot catches him off guard. But what is Mark Briscoe doing? Going high risk, full Sabu. Mamma mia! Shout out to Mauro Ranallo. I know JBL was doing tough love, bro. Oh, going high risk. The double stop gets countered. Pushes off the ropes. Oh, and gets him caught below the belt on the top rope. Word life. Oh, but catches him over the top, and now he's stuck him below the belt. All Briscoe got to do is finish this off with an elbow. I think his finish is an elbow drop. Yes, it is. 1, 2, 3. Okay, not a bad match. I thought he didn't. I bet he'll implement his brother's finisher in a more like personal storyline. Because I know he came from upsetting John Mock, MJF, so he gets a title shot at Full Gear against Kyle Fletcher. Well, someone explain to me why AEW has like a fondness. I'm not saying that there's no like story. There's never like factions that like have over bloated roster spots, but like, fam, someone got to tell the Don Callis family that we need to probably put a tariff in the. We need to put immigration sweep for some of y'all. I'm joking. We have to put a populist restriction on the amount of goddamn roster members on the Don Callis family. Because there's no shot. There's so many of y'all. There's so many of y'all. It's not even funny. I can pull up the AEW roster right now because there's a website where you can get almost every official like roster pay per view. That's how I do my Universal notes, by the way. I want them to be like super detailed so I can do like any storyline I want. But you know, if you want to like know the roster, who showed up, who visited, or like who wasn't like official, or who what their responsibilities are, you know, like check out like I guess you can check out Steel Cage, or you can check out like SmackDown Hotel. Like that's how I get my leaks for like W2K stuff, even though it's not that good. So the Don Callis family, you guys would think it'd be like NWO B team: Kyle Fletcher, Lance Storm, Mark Davis, Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta. Yeah, Trent Beretta, Wardlow. This guy came back just to be off the shelf again due to an injury. Kenosuke Takeshita, Andrade off waivers after his contract got him off of booking to match up against one of the top stars on the roster like Kenny Omega, and then you're not booked. Brian Cage, El Clone, Hekaro, Josh Alexander, former TNA World Champion, longest reigning TNA World Champion in company history, to Lackey being the 15th man in the Don Callis family. You're not even part of an official tag team. Fuck you, and you're bald and Canadian. That's quadruple damage. And Kazuchika Okada. And by the way, they're still adding another belt. They're adding 2 belts. So the women's tag belts are being implemented, even though there hasn't been established. Like there's like barely like 3 teams. The rest are like impromptu in the women's division. I hate when that happens. I think the only legitimate tag division you would even put in women, would you say the Knockouts tag division is a lot more prominent in pro wrestling than you see any other women's division? Because out of anything, the Knockouts division, when they had like Jordan Grace in them, were looked legitimate. Sometimes you find them better headliners than the men. Because you'll be seeing like Tessa Blanchard as the Knockouts champion. You get fucking Sammy Callahan as a TNA World Champion. Like, there's no in between, fam. What's going on right now? Currently, the Charlotte Hornets are trailing only by 17 against the Thunder. That's very impressive. Minnesota Timberwolves are only trailing by like 4 into the second quarter. Oh, the Lakers got the Bucks, and currently the Lakers are starting off good, but they're only halfway in. Milwaukee can still come back. It's just a slow start by Milwaukee. Toronto was doing decent. Toronto's doing pretty decent against an injury-riddled Pacer squad. We got to put that into equation. Well, the only matchup that's been finished right now is somehow the Cavaliers only won by 8 against a injury-riddled, sloppy Grizzlies team that's not even going to touch play-in this season. With John Morant, how inefficient that guy's been shooting this year. You gonna check over any wrestling news? Oh, I don't want to look up wrestling AI. It's either going to be really sus or they're going to just give me Martin Luther King winning Money in the Bank. Cashing in. Oh, man. 19 years ago. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Y'all got to be unk, man. Y'all Gen Z wrestling fans, y'all got to know pain. If y'all know when if you guys were alive when SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 came out, you know how old you have to be? You're about 25 if you remember when SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 came out. And that's one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 2. Shout out to SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. It is now 19 years old. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 is nearly allowed to legally drink. It's that old, man. Bad Bones Jones. No, Bad Bones Jones or John Klinger. Is that fucking Luke Gallows? No, that can't be real. Nick Aldis is putting this up right now. That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. Sorry, folks. Let me. Rest in peace, John Klinger. So many I've arrived tired wearing foreign land, and Bad Bones was a friendly face, and I was relieved to see whatever weird, wacky adventure awaits. We're here together, unique bond only brothers and sisters in wrestling frantically understand. The great guy had gone too soon. Heart goes out to the family and loved ones. Rest in peace, brother. Well, everybody's rest in peace to John Klinger. Damn shame. Damn shame. Oh, that's a damn shame. Nick Aldis had to pay respects to an old friend. Oh, Kalani Jordan. She retained the Bound for Glory. She still, I think, no, she also retained back at Turning Point. She's still Knockouts champion. Now we have Ty Mello and Anna Jay. And this is still the women's tag team. Oh my god, I forgot Taya Valkyrie. Taya Valkyrie is still here, bro. Oh, and she gets a bicycle kick for her troubles. Oh, and yo, those are the worst punches, yo. Ty Mello still can't punch. And what's with this banana yellow fake hair? Terrible dive by Taya Valkyrie, bro. Irish whip over the ropes, going for a back elbow. It takes a stiff forearm smash. Yeah, don't pan the camera even higher. The seats are emptier than my graduation because I didn't go to my college graduation. Oh, running below the damn. John Morrison, you know Nakamura would do that better, bro. That's so terrible. Okay. Is Moxley's on commentary the entire night, fam? Oh, gonna try to push her face first. Oh, but Ty Mello reverses and now tosses Ty Valkyrie on the steel steps. Oh, mommy. Everything on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sold out crowd here on Collision, ladies and gentlemen. Here, which part of? Yes, next to the high school. Yeah, near the Stop and Shop. Yeah, yes. We couldn't afford the lights. Yes, that's all Tony would give us for the budget. Why they show me the clip of Kenny Omega wrestling a sex doll? I keep forgetting that happened. Brother got an undisputed era tattoo, bro. Do not go on wrestling Twitter and be selling their soul for pro wrestling. 2, 3, and Ty Mello wins it. 619, hey, booyaka, booyaka. 619, hey, booyaka, booyaka. That's my hero. 619, hey, what you gonna do? Oh, but look at this. Shafir comes out of nowhere with a blindsided hit from the back of the head, and it hits her with an arm drag takedown. But where's Anna Jay? And hitting her with a sleeper hold. Nobody's there to grab Ty Mello. Oh, but it was running in. Ty Mello's still stuck over the sleeper hold. And Timeless Tony Storm comes to Ty Mello's rescue. Oh, with a drop kick to the back of the head. Oh, and a pile driver right on Shafir. And then she gives a super Molly pose. You are kidding me. And then she walks out. Because I guess she still has beef with Maria Shafir after injuring her tag team partner. What do you, in anybody's opinion, if any of you guys are in chat, I don't mind if it's a PC answer, an NPC answer, but I just want direct input because I really want to understand. Will there be any legitimate benefit to a women's tag team division when there's no established tag team division? Or women's wrestlers willing to buy in to make a defiant tag team division? because I feel like it can work. They just are too lazy to capitalize on it. Because there's so many women that can work in groups like men. But women are a lot more tight knit when it comes to how their groups work. So there's a lot more story creativity. But I feel like segments need to be a lot more utilized for women than you can with men. And now they're going over Powerhouse Hobbs, matching up with Hangman Adam Page, tossing him outside of the steps. And this is right. This is during Blood and Guts. Locking him, trying to push him locked in over the double cage. And Hook comes over to help. If you close your eyes, if you ever and it's gotten beyond personal for this bullshit rivalry. Steel cage match for the AEW World Championship involving Hangman Adam Page and Samoa Joe. None of the ops coming in to interfere in this blood feud. Then it'll be Katsuri Shibata, 1/3 of the ops, and 1/3 of the 6-man tag team champions facing off against Hangman Adam Page. Is this the point when when they transition to spam matches? Oh, thank God! I got so tired of that early parts of watching Rampage when they just spam what's going on. Scorpio Sky, folks. Yes, Scorpio Sky is still with the company. People forgot that he was a TNT champion. Who are these blackish castmates pulling up with Christopher Daniels like he's running a youth group? What the fuck? At this point, bro, bring me back David Utunga. If you ever oh, sorry, I could. Sorry for the lackluster introduction, John Jay. I didn't notice you till the last minute.
What's up, dude?
What's poppin', John?
Smackdown is on Saturdays now?
No, this is Collision. I just covered SmackDown because they'll be going back to a 3-hour airing next year, as soon as the new year starts.
Oh.
To be fair, the way that's going on Friday, it wouldn't surprise me if you see them air on a Saturday, but that's where pay-per-views are now for WWE, so I see that not happening.
I was setting up a special stream for Thanksgiving. I know YTC usually does is a 12-hour thing. And I'm gonna announce it next week. I don't want to,
I see you keeping everything under wraps.
Well, it's a special stream. Like it means a lot to people who care about said human being because it's a tribute to.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, besides all of that, I got some good news because the last time we spoke, I was furious because my job was a piece of shit. It let me go. But apparently, I bounced back. It took me 30 days, but I bounced back, and I'll be working every day, more of a part-time basis.
Ooh.
But I'm back on my feet. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. At the end of the day, that you're back and making money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Better than certain coaches out there. You know, I'll tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
When's the next time we'll see Dable before a job? John Jay got one.
Oh man.
6. Oh God. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. There's so many injuries already had on my invoice that I didn't want to talk about. So many. Thankfully, that's not Niners related. Thankfully.
Apparently, Brock Purdy is returning. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, I've heard Brock Purdy might be
But
returning, but possibly not starting.
yeah, but now all the Mac Jones fans are like, no, it's not fair.
We've done great results with Mac Jones, but most of our results haven't happened because of
Jeez.
Mac Jones. But he's been able to hold the fort.
Dude, he's done. I'll say this. He did a good job, and I'm going to give the respect where he deserves. But I am sorry for any people who are like, screw Purdy, let's stick with Mac Jones for the.
Hey, you know how people believe,
um,
and I don't mind, man. I know Mac Jones. He's had some results, but when he gets shaky on certain routes, it really shows that he's glad to survive this long outside of the other second string quarterbacks. And we still have some injuries for this weekend. And some are major. I think Devontae Adams is out over with injury. Drake London, anybody's fantasy
mhm.
involved, and Brian Thomas. While Tyler Lockett's still out with a full injury. Oh boy, Elijah Clark is out. I don't know how many people are going to be still fully recovered, especially knowing Dante Fowler, Malik Hooker, Tyler Smith. Cowboys defense has been a complete mess this year. And they got the Raiders. This should be a feasible game for them. Just for them to bounce back over in the rankings because they're only just a game below 500. If we don't count a draw, how much a draw really impacts your record over for wild card succession?
Mhm.
If you close your eyes, you might never feel the
Oh, I just
feeling.
remembered. I gotta make a video praising the that SoCal baseball team that beat the Blue Jays.
Oh, come on. I thought that was going to be done earlier, John. I don't want to hear about the Dodgers for at least December.
In the words of David Corona, they're going to win 17 more in the next 17 seasons.
Only two things I disagree with Corona being a Lakers fan and being a freaking Dodgers.
Just like he says that the
I know he's from that area, but geez.
just like he says that the Lakers are winning it this year.
Okay, that's not happening. I let Luca. Don't get me wrong. I've seen Luca this year. He's been outstanding, phenomenal. But shoot, you're not touching the Thunder. You can't even get through Minnesota. If they're still believing LeBron James would still be available, because I think he's supposed to come back around December,
Maybe.
and they've been already critiquing what they can do against teams above 500. Lakers have been not the best team. Oh, and a back elbow, and I don't know. Have they played against Houston? You're not touching Kevin Durant and
Maybe.
Alfred Sengun, or you're touching the Nuggets that are still playing like championship contending basketball because Nikola Jokic played so well he outscored the Clippers starting five. And that Clippers starting five is literally my grandmother's retirement home roster. Because you got the freaking 35-year-old James Harden, the 40-year-old Chris Paul. I want to love you. You should know. Though that's how old it is. You got to bring up old songs that your uncle remembers. All these millennial starting fives for the Los Angeles Clippers. I feel bad for you Clippers fans, man. I feel so bad for you Clippers fans. It's got to be sad
What are these
because this is
Clippers?
just the Brooklyn Nets of the West Coast.
What are these Clippers? I've never heard of them before.
No, John Jay is when you go to the barber shop and
So there's
no, it's those
apparently there's a
boats.
basketball team called Clippers. I thought the only Clippers I knew were scissors.
No, they're like a fan team. They just wear a different color. They share rent with the Lakers, and they don't have championships, but they do have property
Who,
there.
dude? Who was that like celebrity who would go to Clippers games? Some
Oh,
famous comedian who
oh
used to
God,
be friends with Robin Williams. Anyway,
that's not Puffy. Nah.
And the funny thing about it, he's from New York.
And he's a Clippers
Yeah.
fan?
Oh, Billy
He probably
Crystal.
moved
Billy
out a long
Crystal.
time
Well,
ago.
there was a back when I was in high school or about to start college. There was a season where the Clippers were decent and they made the playoffs somehow, and they kept spotlighting Billy Crystal, and he's like, I like the Clippers. I know they're not the best team in the Western Conference, and they will never have titles like the Lakers. But
Mm.
I love the team, and they're like, well, they said you're not from LA. Oh, I'm from New York.
Uh, John, the only upside is that the Clippers have been here longer than the Nets, if we're not counting the Buffalo Braves. And all they've been able to do is just be a fun team that, hey, if we're not going to contend, we can sell tickets. We got the Lob City era and the time they thought Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were going to be the best contending team. And if you remember, OG Clippers fans, if there is some, probably five of you guys, remember Michael Olawamdi as like their first overall pick, and that was probably one of the worst first overall picks in NBA history. Or the time they had like Baron Davis, I think they had Lamar Odom, or if anybody remembers Josh Childress from back in the day, bro, I wanted that guy so bad for the Knicks, and then his injuries. Sean Livingston, was Sean Livingston a Clipper? I know they had Gilbert Arenas. No, they didn't have Gilbert Arenas. He was on the Warriors
Well,
before, and then he went to the
I
Wizards.
don't care about the Clippers. I,
It's so funny. I'm shocked the biggest headline for the Warriors has been Stephen Curry walking
so
out of Under Armour.
apparently, Stephen Curry is now better than Michael Jordan because some idiot here in the Bay Area posted a thing where he says that Steph Curry has had
40-point games.
more 45 point games at his age than the great legend Michael Jordan.
Well, that's
I'm
because of
not lying. It's
longevity.
so hilarious
That's not denouncing from Steph Curry's greatness, by the way, but it's just
because
longevity.
apparently Steph Curry has more than 3 rings. He has a gold medal now.
Yeah.
He's played in 6 finals, so I don't know how stupid, stupid.
Hey, I have him as a top. I have him for an all-time point guard, but I can understand if that's an exaggeration for his greatness. He is great though. Steph Curry is probably one of the greatest point guards I've seen in my generation. But that is a reach. That's a reach. Let's see. The Golden State Warriors are eighth seed. The Phoenix Suns, I think they've won five straight. They've been playing actually okay basketball without Jalen Green. Los Angeles Lakers are fourth, and they started off second. Nuggets and Thunder are neck and neck currently, but they're like 4 games below, and the Thunder are the only team with one loss in their record right now. They only had one blemish after starting the season. What, they had like a 10-game winning streak or an 8-game winning streak before they lost one game
Mhm.
beforehand.
Yep.
And shockingly, a team that's, defense wins championships, right, John?
Mhm.
Defense wins championships. You know who said that?
Who?
The legendary Nico Harrison said that after trading away Luka Doncic to the Lakers. And guess what? Now the Mavericks are now the second worst team in the Western Conference.
Oh yeah. What the hell is going on in Dallas?
Now, people would say the political reason, and people would say the player reason. The political reason was the majority owners were casino tycoons trying to enforce sports gambling into the Texas market. You know how strict gambling is over in Texas, and they had to enforce that or make a major pivot to keep their team in Dallas. Or Luka Doncic is fat and lazy, and he doesn't get on defense, and he's fat, and he likes hookah. Yeah, the guy who led you to an NBA championship. He was the only person that made the Thunder look silly. He was one of the only people to make the Thunder look silly, and destroyed the overrated Clippers when they had Westbrook on the team and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. This guy looked legit MVP caliber if it wasn't for his injury that got him out for like the new year. And then you trade him halfway through the season after getting Klay Thompson on the team just for a broken now Klay Thompson's washed. His 3-point percentage is like worse than Mitchell Robinson. Anthony Davis is injured again, and Kyrie Irving is still out with his ACL injury. For a 33-year-old man, you think he's going to play the same? And all you're stuck with a young Cooper Flag that's got everything going bad for him now. And they already fired Nico Harrison, by the way, on my birthday. So the plan was absolute garbage. All you have to see now is like Cooper Flag. What was supposed to be a win now option, even though everybody was damaged goods and you had to just put a tax write-off. And that tax write-off was Luka Doncic. I don't believe for a second any person would trade away their primary pick unless they were a legitimate cancer or it was a leverage pull. And you see how Luka's doing. He's MVP caliber playing, like dropping 40 a night without LeBron James on the team. Dropping 40, getting 10 threes, going up on defense in the best shape of his life. And now everybody's injured or like terrible. Like D'Angelo Russell's like the starting point guard for the Mavericks at times. Like, oh God. He still carried off that one All-Star year. While we are second best in the Eastern Conference, the Knicks. And somehow the Atlanta Hawks. Shockingly, nobody goes over the Atlanta Hawks, even though they're 8-5. But you know what's a big surprise? The Detroit Pistons are number 1 seed in the East and number 2 in the NBA with an 11-2 record above the Denver Nuggets. Shockingly. And John Jay, this is pretty significant when it comes to like, teams that, struggle to always rebuild. Detroit's been that way for a while. They lost 28 straight games. They were a running joke in the NBA. They were like being considered Cleveland Browns territory because they weren't like in the glories of the bad boy Pistons or the 04 Pistons with gambler Chauncey Billups.
Mm-hmm.
And now like they have all-star guard with Cade Cunningham. They have the top defensive record in the NBA. They have a young rotation full of developed pieces with a coach that actually cares. And now the Pistons are one of the most exciting fresh teams in the Eastern Conference. You love to see it. Sadly, the Indiana Pacers are like the Mavericks of the Eastern Conference. NBA finals like losers, but damn, Tyrese Halliburton, now everybody's injured.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's going on right now. Okay, Denver Nuggets trail by 5 against the Timberwolves. Los Angeles Lakers are leading by damn near 30. What, is Giannis injured? Oklahoma City Thunder are going to sweep the Hornets while the Raptors are destroying the Pacers. An interesting send-off for Stephen Curry that I know left Under Armour. Just focus on football, fam. I'm shocked Under Armour even profited that long with Stephen Curry.
Wow.
Because football is just resonates more with like Under Armour than basketball. Because kids don't find Under Armour cool. They focus on sports science. They don't do trendy clothes like Nike or Adidas.
Mm. Wow, I just found out. My buddy just told me, he texted me. He says that he's working in an area called the East Bay. Like there's like a new like Richie private school created by these like tech peoples. It's like for like elementary and middle school, and like and the cheapest tuition, like if you have like scholarship, is like $40,000.
Jesus. for what type of school? And that's the cheapest?
It's in the East Bay.
Yeah.
It's on the other side.
This is for all you people that think community college is like a waste of money, I owe only like $7,000 right now. Imagine what I'd be doing if I'd be like a quarter 10 grand in debt.
I'm not talking about
Imagine
college.
what
I'm talking about like
oh
he works at a elementary middle school.
and that's elementary
Yeah.
school.
40.
What are you teaching those kids? John Jay, is Professor X one of those teachers?
I don't know. I don't live in the East Bay.
Professor X got to be one of the teachers, man. They got to be teaching those kids how to use their powers or something, man. That's impossible.
I heard one of the teachers is Justin Fields.
Oh, oh, that makes sense. His arms and legs are useless. I saw that meme of Justin Fields getting ready for breakfast, and they show a man losing his arms and legs and falling like a domino around his house to start breakfast. That's uncalled for, by the way. You should be ashamed of yourself.
So Michael went live on Thursday, and he still believes the Jets are making the playoffs.
You know what, Michael? Why aren't you a New York fan? You got to be a different level of ignorance to say that.
Dude,
There's no shot.
he finally admitted to me that he is a player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's Vetavia for sure. He's Vetavia for sure.
He hates the Bears now. He's like, officially he is not a Bears fan. He's gone.
Why are you hating on the team that's now in a playoff conversation to snag wild card? What's going on with Michael? What's these polo? Yo, there's got to be some bipolar choices he'd be picking on, hating on the certain teams that he supports. I don't get it.
Remember, you have to understand that he used to be the tribal chief of Chicago.
Oh my lord, he actually said that.
Idiot.
By the way, we love the McCaskies. By the way, no hate to the McCaskies.
Whatever. I'm not a Bears fan.
Yeah, ain't no god. Hey, I only sort of support the Jets because I have family, dog. Justin Fields needs to get out of that goddamn team. Even though I don't feel like Justin Fields was even the problem. Sometimes the receivers wouldn't catch that ball against the Patriots. That was a terrible offensive showcase. And it felt like every time Drake May was just going to get another first down. Let's keep it 1,000. Firing Robert Saleh was your biggest mistake. Now you lose your cornerstone of your secondary with Sauce Gardner. Now the Jets are back to, what is this? Their fifth rebuild in a decade and a half? They haven't had a playoff win since I was still in elementary school.
Damn.
I wasn't even in middle school last time they had a playoff win. Rex Ryan, bro.
I remember that famous play that everyone still talks about. Mark Sanchez, boom! I hit.
Hit my head.
Speaking of Mark Sanchez, I heard he's in trouble.
Oh, that stabbing that happened to him recently, or something else.
Apparently, he was fighting an elderly person.
Oh.
And Fox Sports kicked him out. He's like, get the fuck out of our company.
And wasn't Mark Sanchez a reporter?
Yeah.
And then you get yourself over in an altercation. And guys are that is messed up. People dressed up as him getting stabbed as Halloween. Mark Sanchez confirmed he's no longer with the network. He was on Fox Sports. Spokesman told by TMZ and confirmed Mark Sanchez is no longer. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. What are you gonna do? Stab me? That's crazy. I hate the internet so much. I hate the internet.
Yeah, apparently the internet died.
Thank you, Amazon.
Apparently, now because the internet is ace, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go outside and live life.
Oh, but wait, where's the place I need to go? Oh, let me check my Google map.
I think it's good for people. I think it's good for people to go outside. Go outside, explore, learn things.
Talk to people.
I'm too scared, John. I'm too scared. I'm too scared. That's what Michael tells me.
What if they rob me? They're not gonna rob you. Hey, sometimes you get a better opportunity if you get yourself out there, even if you get rejected. And sometimes I'm gonna say this as a nice advice. Sometimes it's just safer to shut the hell up and just listen, because sometimes it's better to just be a good listener. And as worse, things will come to you easy. You don't know how much you hear like a conversation. You're trying to hit it up with a girl, and you'll be trying to overtalk her. They don't like it
I enjoy.
because guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they're just gonna. Because girls don't want to always sound like you're always talking about yourself. Girls are not going to like themselves with a narcissist, even though you don't see yourself that way. There's certain people like that.
I love going outside. It's fun. I'm
I
gonna
love
make a campaign.
destruction in the morning.
Go outside, losers. Ooh, I'm canceled. How dare you, John?
Better that word than the other. Better that word than the
You're
other.
like, John, how dare you? You offended us. I'm all right, whatever.
Team employees, then the 10 on the Lakers, gambling investigations, long overdue for Adam Silver to resign over rigged games in the NBA. Oh, this is just like Calgia home. This is just like the Juventus. Italian soccer is like heavily notable for their corruption over game fixing, especially how Juventus got like so penalized they got like relegated to the second division of Italy. But I don't think like this would be a financial setback for like the entire NBA. They'll just heavily fire guys.
Italian soccer is because my family is invested in Italian soccer. They're very heavily defensive. They're very they play of like a very congested style of
Yeah,
football.
very tactical.
And so in the 70s, they were known as the it translates like it's better in Italian. It's translated to like the blue curtain.
Ooh,
It's kind of weird. I don't know how to pronounce it, but the point is that the blue curtain, it was difficult for any team to score on them. And so in the 70s and in the early 80s, they were known as the most defensive football team.
yeah, that's always been their reputation. Still to this day, I think
Mhm.
most people are going to like Italy isn't as successful how it was back in the 80s, 70s, 90s. I wouldn't say 90s. I would say the last time Italy was like super successful was like early 2000s. But yeah, it's come to a point where like they are lacking innovativeness offensively to catch up with like juggernaut European countries like in England or France. And we know France has a lot more like diverse players now, and they're like heavily offensive and defensive too.
Yep.
Like, not a lot of the top Italian players are in like the top 10 currently. I think you'll see more Africans now in the top 10 now than you'll see Italians. And that's very crazy because I think the top player is like an Italian goalie for Manchester City, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Not DiMarco, Bastoni, Barella. Shoot, nobody can name me an Italian striker right now, except probably Moise Keane. But I'm not trying to get myself canceled, but I think there's a reason. That name doesn't sound that Italian. No, I'm not gonna. There's some guys from the old countries that don't claim guys like that. I'm just saying.
So
But the goalkeeper's reputation is still great.
so what the hell is that dude? Trying to remember Ibrahimovic, who played in
Mhm.
MLS for 2 seasons, and
Oh God.
he was bored as hell when he was in MLS, but he made a ton of money But here's the thing: he was asked by a MLS reporter talking about, tell us about your playing style, and he basically didn't answer the question. He basically said, "Let me tell you all the countries I've played for." He said, "I've played in England, I've played in Spain, I've played in Germany."
Mhm.
He said playing in Italy was like his best time because he felt that he could become a better offensive player. And he just basically said, like, if you want to be a great soccer player, you have to play at least one season in Italy if you're an offensive player, because then after you leave, you just become like a scoring machine, even when you're
He's
past
kind
your
of right
prime.
about that. A lot of great strikers came from Italy as well. Like people forget about like Ronaldo. Not we're not talking about the Portuguese guy that's still playing at 40. No, we're talking about R not like OGs no Ronaldo. Like that Ronaldo, R9 Brazilian. He was like killing it over in Inter before like injuries got him, and he was like one of the top strikers for like a long time. Who else? I know Cristiano Ronaldo did play for Juventus like in 2020, but he was like already past his prime.
Yep.
So there was like, so there was plenty of like knowing how defensively structured Italy is. Finding like primary scorers was like a necessity in Italy, and that's always like kind of cool. I like the Italian fashion, so it always like resonates higher. Because like you had like Inzaghi as well, Francesco Totti. Who else was there? There was like a lot of guys, and I only know because like my grandfather watches a lot of soccer, and he went to like Naples back in the day. So he like grew up watching like Maradona and stuff. So every time he'll just tell me
Mm-hmm.
some stories from there when he like traveled a lot in his when he was a young parent.
There's this YouTube channel that they don't make content like every day. They make like content once a month,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about like the the problems with the infrastructure in Italy when it comes to soccer, and they outlined that traditionally Italians focus more on simplicity than what the Premier League, giant stadiums, luxury
Yes.
boxes, overpricing your fans. They're all about simplicity. So if you ever like meet a traditionalist, like Italian dude who's like over the age of 60, they're not wearing luxury clothes. They're wearing still clothes from the motherland. The purpose of this video that he's explaining is that in today's world of soccer, just like every sport in the world, if you don't have a stadium, you don't have a brand. And Italy's like clubs are being privatized, and the government is giving more opportunities to upgrade old stadiums that they want to keep for tradition, or a public private partnership to put better infrastructure to try to entice the rest of the football world. Hey,
Yeah.
the Premier League is great, the Spanish league is great, even the German league is great. But once we get our stuff done and we're able to like bring these quality stadiums, and we start to update how revenue in soccer is created, we will be what we used to be, the pillar of soccer. Because Italy, until like
Mm-hmm.
the 2010s, have fallen from grace because
They've fallen a lot, even financially.
mhm. And so George Clooney, the actor, purchased a team called Cosmo 1908, I think,
Oh yeah, Como,
yeah,
Como.
they were in the second division, about to be regulated to the third division before he bought it, and now they're playing in Series A or Series A, and they're one of the top teams in the league because of George Clooney invested not just with the money, but he's invested time, sweat, and tears to make sure that he has a product out there that fans can be proud
Mhm.
of. And you're seeing that people know the value of soccer with these new owners because, and I know a lot of people like have criticism, especially like these old fart soccer idiots who don't know shit about American sports. When you're a fan of an American sports team, you're passionate. And when you're an owner, you try to make the product as good as possible. That's why the teams who are really good in sports care about the product on the field. And so George Clooney, who's American, took a team that should have been in the third division to now one of the top teams in the first division in Italy. And so fans are like, thank you for buying our team. No disrespect to stupid morons like Eric Winalda, who continues to push a propaganda. If you're not in Europe, you're ace.
Yeah, that is an ignorant take, especially like how like gatekept, especially how sacred Italian clubs are, and sometimes they won't get the financial backing or at least the focus academy wise, because certain Italian clubs they don't have much academies, and now you're seeing like Como. You were talking about them coming over in the third division. John, they are doing significantly well currently. Como, they are seventh best, nearly fighting for a European opportunity, and that's a lot of money if they get a European opportunity to play in like the Europa Conference League, the Europa League, or the Champions League is the big boy. You finish top four, you're automatically going to be playing off against big teams outside of Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a big opportunity, and that's not what a lot of clubs that have been in the game for like they've been in the top flight for like over a century, a quarter century, or half a century, like Florentina, AS Roma, Juventus haven't been the same since like Ronaldo was still playing. Or you want to say Hellas Verona, Lazio, another Roman club. And it's kind of been parody, but not really the dominance you see outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're talking about like what's going on continental success.
Like,
Because I
mm-hmm.
think Inter Milan still haven't won a Champions League since like
I know, like,
2010.
I don't know if you ever heard of Eric Winalda. He has a YouTube channel on a YouTube thing called Goals TV, spelled
Uh-huh.
GO. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the dude like just continues to like talk shit about the American soccer landscape. You know,
Oh yeah, he probably called it a retirement league, hasn't he?
so
Still.
he also like always brings up, oh, my career was cut short because of MLS. My career was cut short because of so, and then apparently in 2018 he wanted to like remove Don Garber and become like the commissioner of MLS to like because he had great ideas to make MLS better than, and he lost. And then there's a guy called Hercules Gomez who, if you're like a true soccer fan, he was like a role player during like the 2007s all the way to like the early 2012s, and he had a good career with the Galaxy. You know, not like the Landon Donovan career, but he was a great player. And he has a podcast on ESPN's Football Club or FC, whatever it's called. And he was talking to some British dude on like a very minor podcast, and he was saying this: Eric Winalda has shown tendencies of bigotry because he says that if you are not given opportunities in Europe, you can go to play in Liga MX. Well, they will compensate you, and also you play in higher talent than the MLS. Or
No,
if you want better talent, you can always go to the Brazilian league. And Eric Winalda,
Brazilian league.
And then Eric Winard was like, "Fuck the Brazilians and fuck the Mexicans."
Damn! Wait, the greatest player of all time played in the Brazilian league. That's a dumb. That's a Ronaldo. That's an ignorant take.
So the thing that Hercules Gomez says, he's like, uh, apparently Ronaldo is Dutch descent. So basically, his grandparents,
Eredivisie, huh?
and so he has an outlook saying that if you're a good American, you should not play with Mexicans because Mexicans are
Whoa,
racist
whoa!
and Brazilians are ace.
Oh my! He said Brazilians are butt. They have the most World Cups in history, and he said the Brazilian league, John Jay, before the influx of money, before the Premier League, before even the Italian league. You know what was the biggest league in the world?
Brazil.
The Brazilian league.
Yeah,
You know why? You know who was the greatest player
yeah,
there?
we all know.
Pele was there.
Yeah.
World Cup champions were playing in freaking Brazilian league. Opposing Europeans that were trying to get compensated more and join
Mhm.
like Rio de Janeiro. They were coming over to play in Brazil. Don't say that.
So
Plus, you can play in the Saudi Pro League too. Make some
so
money.
here's the point. Here's the point. In 1992, leading up to the World Cup of '94, NBC, which at the time was like showing almost every sport, they had the basketball licensing, they had major league licensing, and they were
Yeah.
showing NFL games. CBS, had some games, and Fox was not even in the picture in sports yet. NBC had it all, and they were like, "Hey, we are getting close to the World Cup of 1994," and they dropped a $50 million bomb to buy
Wow.
broadcasting rights of the Premier League because
Well, I'm sorry, John Jay. Hold that
go
thought
ahead.
for 2 seconds. Wait. Sorry, that was too much hydration. Sorry. Go ahead, continue. Hello? I'm gonna give it 2 seconds. He's probably busy doing something. Hello? So he's going over the influx of money going into the World Cup. If anybody wasn't paying attention, last before I cut him off. Oh, and a slam dunk!
I'm back. My bad.
No, no problem. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So basically, they dropped a big, and this was how media rights for sports became big. And again, it goes back to college football, which is a bigger conversation for another time. And
Hmm.
so, for those who don't know what happened in the '80s, just leading up to the start of the Premier League, there was an incident known as the Big Crunch, something like that. ESPN in 2014 did the E60 where the Liverpool was playing like a knockout, one of those like knockout games for like those like trophies that are not the Premier League trophies.
Oh yeah, the League Cup matches. Yeah, the
And
FA Cup.
so stadiums were designed in the UK like fan friendly. It was like it was more designed for like to describe it like low level low level Division 3 college and like high level high school. It was like it was designed like that, like more like a a more like homecoming environment. And so the stadiums were not uh they were outdated because again there was no money flow in like basically every major sport in the last 30 years have become $1 billion entities. And so there's a thing
Mhm.
called the big crunch. So the big crunch is a prime example of why the um damn it hold on shit I'm losing my train of thought.
No
um
problem.
okay, let me slow down. So 100 people, like 80 something people, and like like 80 something people and like 15, so like 85 people and 15 people under the age of 14 were crushed because back in the day there was these like standing room like places where people could just access, but because it was like a serious match like a for a cup, it was like a playoff atmosphere. And so there were more fans that there were supposed to be. Once the people got into the stands and they bought their tickets, the standing room gates were open. And so because of that incident, 100 people lost their lives. I think in 2024 was like the 30th anniversary of that sad tragedy. But anyway, I digress. And then there was like Champions League competition where
Hmm.
the Premier League teams got into it with Italian fans and players, like basically what happened in the NBA with the Pistons and the Pacers, but a million times worse. A million times worse. Think about that. And so the the before the creation of the Premier League, those teams that were going to be in the Premier League were banned for 2 years. And so it was the low point of English soccer, the lowest point of English soccer. And so the best clubs, like the best clubs that had the money, decided we're going to reform and we're going to go against the English Association of Soccer or football, whatever they're called. And so they created the Premier League to incentivize great soccer with great teams. But they went further and created a media rights deal with an upstart, like sort of like an HBO. Sky. Sky was creating their own sports division, just like you know the sports networks that we have in the United States. And
Yeah.
so the Premier League was going to be covered 24/7 on this Sky Sports. And of course, they talked about other sports, but soccer is their national pastime. And so many international markets from Europe and even the United States saw the value of it. And because Americans were about to be introduced in soccer in 1994, they thought by showing the Premier League was in a good way to introduce the American public to soccer. But one of the things that they did was, and as you mentioned a while ago, is that South America had the talent. They had all the talent in that small square of the earth. I'm not saying that European players are ass. I'm saying that you had great European players, but once you started to, bring in these players from these countries, you start to devalue the league. And so what happened over time is that they brought in the best coaches from around the globe. They brought in the best players from around the globe
Yes.
from the 1990 World Cup and then the Copa America, which I think was in also like in 1993 because they have a weird pattern. Eventually,
Yeah,
Copa America lined up with the European,
Euros.
it's at the same time, and so every time, a Euro happened or a World Cup happened, they were importing players from South America, and so the Premier League became like the place to go. Like if you wanted to play with the best of the best, the Premier League became like a mini World Cup environment, a mini Euro environment, a mini Copa America environment. And so people gravitated to that. The problem is that it really hindered the smaller clubs. And so when I watch uh English soccer, I don't watch the Premier League anymore. I watch the second division
The
because
championship. You watch the
because
champion?
they still have that like home, like the simple flair
Mm.
stadiums, the passionate fans, the players who are trying to like make it to the Premier League. Like it's basically like, hey, we are like college, football, but for their football. And so you see great rivalries and you see those great matches of that. And then I did a podcast about a few years ago with some British dude who was a Detroit Lions fan. I don't know how that happened. And
Hey,
and he was
the weather.
and he was telling me about Birmingham City.
Wow.
He compares Birmingham City to like what Detroit is in the United States. They're blue collar cities. Blue collar, again, I don't know what the definition of blue collar for a British person is, but it's like Detroit. The factories are dying. People who live there like struggle, but their soccer club is like the
Oh, I
people
see.
love it. And so that's the reason why he roots for Birmingham City. And so because that's what's happening. But now Tom Brady, I think this year bought, I don't know, like a portion of the team.
Yeah, he bought a portion of the team. There's been other, and I think
Yeah.
he also bought another portion of a team, Swansea City.
Yeah. So no. JJ Watt. JJ Watt, my bad.
Oh, okay.
JJ Watt bought a partial ownership of Birmingham City. And if you know who JJ Watt is,
Of course, I know who JJ Watt is.
he was a great gridiron football player. His background before he was an NFL player, like that blue collar mentality,
Multi-time DPOY John Jay. I know who the Texans legend is.
So the point is that, you know, even though like he played the wrong football, when you have a person with that mentality, Birmingham City in the future will probably be in the Premier League, just like I talked about the George Clooney team that they're in Italy. Because one thing that I will tell these soccer snub idiots, if I'm able to like ever engage with them,
Wankers. Say wankers.
there's a reason why this American culture like this, like when it comes to sports, even though analytics and all this bullshit that's hurting the sport, if you're a great athlete and you're in a team with other great athletes who care about winning, you have a winning culture. But when you have athletes who are good but they're selfish, no disrespect to the Jets, but there's a lot of good players on that team, but all of them are selfish, and the coach, I think, jumped in a very bad situation. And so that's the reason why, while the 49ers are hurt and we have injuries, the culture that we've built is like next man up mentality. And if you're going to beat us, we're going to fight back. We're going to fight back. And so those are the players that if we have in a soccer culture in America, we will finally be able to compete and play very well against the best teams on the globe. Right now, the players that we have, it's like, and I know people don't like this name. I don't know how you feel about him, or I don't know if you ever heard of him, Alexi Lawless. I like Alexi Lawless. Now, his baggage outside the game of soccer, not a fan of it. But when he talks about soccer, he's like, I was a college student with no American Soccer League, no soccer pedigree, but we were able to match up with good teams in the 94 World Cup, in the 1993 Copa America. Um, and we beat teams like the best African teams, the best South American teams, and the best European teams when MLS wasn't around and we had no infrastructure. Now we have infrastructure. We have 30 teams now. There's even a league under MLS who is trying
USL.
is trying to be better than MLS, which is never going to happen. We have
Sadly.
more soccer culture. We have more clubs. We have all these independent clubs that are trying to, branch out. We watch more soccer in like the Premier League and all the other leagues in the world, and kids are playing soccer. But where's that American toughness? We don't have it. I like Christian Pulisic. I think he's a great player. I think he's an overhyped player. And the rest of his supporting cast around him, great players, but I think they're very overhyped. I think this is one of the most
Wait, are you talking
overhyped.
about for the USA team or for AC Milan?
I'm talking about the United States team. We
Oh, okay,
have
the
great
national team.
we have great players, but who are overhyped by this Eurocentric idiots.
Oh yeah, we have a European. No, he's Argentinian, but he's had a reputation coaching European teams.
Yeah.
So
And
he played.
so
So he coached the Spurs. He coached Spurs.
yeah, and Pochettino, I think, is a great coach right now that we need because he needs to build that mental toughness. Build that mental toughness. And I think that the players under Berhalter, I think Berhalter, let these guys slide and like just coast and just, all right, just do the bare minimum. Pochettino is like, hey, I think MLS is better than the European leagues. If you're a player in Europe and you're an American, it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Let me show you how tough this league and mentally.
How you fat Yanks can't dribble the ball.
Yeah. So if I was the coach, I would say the same thing. I said, hey, if the MLS players are playing harder and they're playing tougher against weaker opponents, and you're over there in Europe just making your monies and cruising by, if you're hey, yo, we're playing against these Champion League clubs and these best clubs in the domestic league. What are you talking about? Then show it to me. Show it to me. Impress me. I would do the same thing, And so we found Sebastian Berhalter's son, who's a really good defensive midfielder, who's a good set piece guy who can be a good, like a defensive point guard, if you want to use the analogy. Diego Luna. And maybe I'm
Oh
biased,
no,
but
I love Diego. He's undersized, but he's a magician. The guy's good.
Diego Luna, and again, this is going to be a little bit biased. He's Mexican American, and he's from the Bay Area. Okay.
Oh boy.
And so I don't know how Mexicans from other parts of the United States, but I can tell you right now, Mexican Americans from California and the Bay Area, they are like the most shit talkers than any other cultural diverse group that we have in the Bay Area. And they will show you that, oh, you want to be a shit talker? Let me show you. And they have that blood, that ancient blood from their Aztec. That's why Diego Luna is fierce. He said, I may not be the fastest, I may not be the strongest, but when I'm on that field, I'm going to give it 120, maybe 130, maybe 150%. And so
Tell him.
Berhalter, Diego Luna, and he's did it the hard way. He was part of the San Jose Earthquakes academy, but apparently he wasn't at the par that they wanted. So then they loaned him to like a small USL club in Texas where he shined. He shined because he wasn't supposed to be there. And then Real Salt Lake saw the potential. He's been killing it with them.
Oh
Been
no,
killing it with them.
that's how I saw him in Real Salt Lake. I never heard he was on USL, but he's very good. He had some
Okay.
Puskas nominees.
Matt Freese from the New York team that plays in Yankee Stadium, which is kind of weird.
I think there's also Timothy Weah. He's the son of George Weah. He's a Ballon d'Or winner, so that's like a big like legacy pick we have in the national team.
Yep. And so he was discovered Patrick Ajiman, who a lot of these Eurocentric podcasters on YouTube hate the guy's guts. You know,
Ooh.
oh, because he went to college. He went to an American college. He's
I went to college.
now he's unpolished, but Pochettino sees potential in him. Now he will never, you know, probably after this World Cup cycle. Now, if Pochettino stays, I think Ajiman will finally grow into that like soccer body that he is, even though he's in his early 20s. And most soccer bodies you grow in your teenage years. But again, another guy who did it the long road, Division three for 4 years, and then 1 year Division One. So he was in college for 5 years. At 22, was finally drafted. So again, the that long road that he had to do. So yeah, I talked about Matt Freese, who has earned Pochettino's respect, and he's seen some other MLS guys, but again, he understands that if you're in Europe, you need to be playing better because he can say, you know what, I know all your Eurocentric, people, but guess what, I kind of like some of these MLS guys. And remember, Pochettino, who's Argentinian, said this: why is Lionel Messi in his late 30s still participating in the Argentinian soccer?
National.
Because in Argentina, say you're even playing at like the worst team in the top league in Argentina, and you get a phone call. You're not gonna say no. You're gonna say, "All right, give me the jersey. I'm there in like seconds." It's a privilege for them to wear that. So when Argentinians are called up, they perform at the highest level. And he says when he was a player in Argentina soccer, even though he wasn't the best, he wasn't the big name, he enjoyed wearing that jersey, even when he came off the bench. And he brought that toughness to every part where he coached. He coached a small team in La Liga that always competed with the top clubs. Then he went
Espanol.
to Tottenham, where they didn't have the budget. They didn't have like the big prestige, but he made that team a winner. And yes, they weren't winning the Premier League titles. They were participating in Europa leagues, etc. Every now and then the Champions League. But he took a team and made them competitive. Okay. And guess what? When Harry Kane was a young dude, before no one knew who he was, Pochettino was his coach. And then he goes to, of course, PSG, which is the easiest.
No. He went to Bayern Munich. He didn't go to PSG. The German team, not the French team.
No, he was in PSG.
Oh, you're talking about Pochettino still? Okay.
Yeah. So, and then of course his last spot was Chelsea, where he had a winning record, but then he decided, oh, I'm gonna take a year off, like it's because I've been coaching super busy, super tired, like a tough
Coaching must
schedule.
be draining. Coaching must be.
And then after Berhalter was released, our president said if Pochettino was available after the World Cup, this is who we wanted all along. But because he was busy at the time coaching, Berhalter came back. So I think if Pochettino was like, you know what, I'll leave Chelsea and come back in 2023 and been able to have that 2023 and 2024 and moving to 2025, I think by this point we would have had our team set up. But because he had a short amount of time, and I think he's only had like 8 total camps plus that CONCACAF Nations League and the Gold Cup. He's been with the team only 8 times total since he's arrived, with very minimal games.
Yeah, I do wish the American news media gave him a bit more patience because he's adjusting. Because he's never coached international ball before, Of course, you'll have problems against teams that have more experience than you, especially like knowing that you can't manage like like a fresh cohesive unit that sometimes you got to be picked up on the spot, and he wants to like know the ground running for like American and like who deserves an opportunity coming from Europe.
Yep.
I really thought he said Scatterboo. I really thought he said Scatterboo.
Yeah.
But I want to, because I do feel like America has the tools. If we can't, I want to at least make an impact. If we don't have a legitimate team, like there's some good pieces here, but like it's either they can't play. Like I saw when we were playing in the Gold Cup in the Nations League, and we be losing to like teams that we should not be losing to. And sometimes it comes over undisciplined. Like Serginho Dest pissed me off when he had that red card. It nearly costed us an opportunity to make it in the qualifying. Or it comes over to like our defense collapsing in the final third against clubs like Costa Rica. I think we lost to Dominican Republic. We lose to like teams that we shouldn't be losing to.
Mm-hmm. And again, I am pro, like, if you are like just too, like, say you are like Yamin Yamal, like that talented,
Yeah.
and MLS is not for you, yeah, go to Europe. But you better be at that high level, because guess what? They have players who are also as good as you in that country. And this is the problem um that American soccer has to solve, is this. One, what will make American soccer like MLS better? Okay. One,
Mm-hmm.
raise the salary cap, because there are teams who are willing to pay big money. Okay. They're willing to pay big money. Okay.
New York City FC been trying to get some guys to play for a big market for us, especially moving over to the new stadium. I want attraction on the team to get like young players, especially in the American market.
So there should be like a scale, like a salary cap scale, where you have to be in that scale, and you can raise the cap to like 10 million. So if you're a team and your priority is not to spend, but just to put a product out there, give them 10 million of their investment, because they're making billions of revenue, television shares, all that stuff. And the league also,
Hell, 100 million.
okay.
Get these guys paid. Get some legitimate talent.
So I think 10 million is really good, because then you're able to be flexible, and then you're able to pay how you want. So say you want to pay like someone $9 million, and then you want to divvy up 1 million to like the other 22 players, you could do that. Next, for the top club or earners who actually want to participate, you can put a $20 million cap right there. Cap. And so you're still able to create parity, and you're able to be budget friendly to these MLS clubs, because guess what? MLS is not like MLB. MLB, these owners are billionaires. NFL owners are billionaires. NBA basketball has the luxury tax. So if you go over a certain percent, you pay a tax to the NBA, which eventually is taxed, federally, yada yada. And so
Thanks, McCullum. We can get Giannis.
So that's the point that I'm trying to make. So that's the first thing you do. If you want to make it like where the owners are not breaking their pocketbooks, but you have owners that want to break their pocketbooks, do that a salary cap scale. You must pay 10 million minimum. You have to, nothing less, but you cannot go over $20 million. Two, to make it better, incentivize your young stars who are at the verge, who are like, they need a couple of years more in Europe, incentivize them to stay here, and basically have top sponsors invest in them. So have the sponsors invest in them, and like do what the other sports do, like plaster these people on billboards, on social media, and of course, traditional commercials. Plaster these guys, so then people, oh, I want to watch this guy. What's the hoopla? And then you're able to see them. Try to keep that. Of course, you're going to lose some of your, but you want to keep as many because, no disrespect, as an American, I want to relate to an American star. Landon Donovan.
Mhm.
Landon Donovan did the right thing. He could have gone to Europe if he wanted to, but he understood that his viability, his face on the U.S. national team and on MLS, you're basically like being plastered everywhere you go, and sponsors are going to follow you everywhere around. And so we need to find more of these players, not just have one, more of these players. Okay, so that's the second thing is plaster players. And then number 3, stop getting old guys. Okay, let them stay in Europe. For example,
Thomas Muller is on the Whitecaps, and that guy already has like 11 goals, and he just signed. He's like in his 40s.
yeah, so get young guys. Basically, like for example, like get these like Division 2 English players who are young, under the age of like 25, because you still want them in their prime, but you don't want them like super young where you're still developing. And so what you do is call like you entice them. Hey, I know, you would rather stay here in the second division because you're making more money, but come to America. You get to live the American dream for a while, and then like you entice them, get these young guys, and then you do the same thing in South America. Like stop getting these old South American dudes as well. No disrespect to South America.
Nobody wants to see Chicharito
Yeah.
still. Sorry, that's not even South America, but still like.
Okay, and then here's another thing, because we play Mexico, we play Canada. Well, of course, the Canadian players, they don't have like a true league, even though they created one recently. Get the best Canadian stars to come here, and then get the best Mexican and the best Panamanian. Like try to keep it in the region, okay? Because I remember Houston Dynamo had that dude called Carrasquilla. Yes, wasn't a huge giant name, but he was a really good impact, and he was a great impact player internationally. So if you're a soccer fan, you know the name. And so that's what you want to do. Okay. That's what you want to do. And the fourth and I think final thing that will really help MLS attract fans who are not like true like fans. Okay. You have to invest in a player pipeline. Okay. In basketball.
So like invest in academies?
No,
or you want it to be like how Japan does it with like the universities?
So number one, in basketball, like when Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant, and of course LeBron James, they were in high school and they were way too good to go to college. Now, I know Kobe Bryant, when rest in peace, when he talked about, imagine if I just had one season playing March Madness. One season playing March Madness. Same thing with Kevin Garnett and LeBron James. LeBron James talks about, he said the biggest regret in his life is not, like, of course, being an NBA, but the biggest regret is not experiencing March Madness like Kevin Durant did. Kevin Durant experienced March Madness, and he was still a young 19-year-old when he was in the league. So the purpose is like, when it comes to a player pipeline, you grab the best players. That's all you really need to do. Like, I'm an NBA owner with Kobe Bryant. Oh, he's 18 years old. I'm going to draft him. Boom. Best decision the Lakers did.
Same thing when they got Dwight Howard, that came from high school. J.R. Smith, that came from high school. I think Kevin Garnett came from high school.
Yeah. And so you don't need academies. Like, if you're a good player, you deserve to be in the MLS. Okay.
Especially when you can compete over like the lack of NIL, because we know colleges and schools don't really prioritize. Colleges really don't prioritize the soccer program like they do football and basketball.
Yeah. Also,
so you can invest in that pipeline.
Also, college soccer is about to change. College soccer is like 15 games, regular season, and then you go straight to like a March Madness style. The top 32 teams play single elimination, And so say you're able to make it through, you play 5 more games. So like the last 2 teams play 5 additional games. So you're playing 20 games. What they're doing now is that they're going to start the season much earlier, like in July, like late July, and go all the way as far as they can go in December. Probably add like additional games, but also create like a player pipeline, which is what we need. Once the season is over, once the season is over, now MLS is changing their schedule. It was a breaking news today that they're going to copy Europe, and so
Really?
yeah, so
So that means it's gonna start in the fall.
so basically, when football season starts, it's going to be the boring part of the year because it's like early in the year. When football season is over, if you don't like March Madness, if you don't like NHL, if you don't like NBA playoffs, people will be watching soccer in the boring months, and they want to end the season in like early April, and then they want to finish the season inside before the month of June. So
Will it be in one stadium for the tour? For will they still push a playoff system? Because I hear something that they want to make this like a single table format, like not round robin, like single table format, like Europe.
I don't know how they're gonna do it, but like the conference, era, they do have to eliminate it. It's kind of stupid because
It's silly for soccer.
because
It's silly.
yeah, but I do agree that there are way too many teams, way too many,
Wait.
and so like say like you do like the top 5 teams, like the top 5 teams, and then like the next 5 um to they should create something, but I think like the top 5 teams like are saved, and then like the next 5 teams try to battle to get that 6, 7, and 8, type of thing.
So you want to play in
Yes,
tournament sort of?
something like that, because then because there's so many teams in the league, like, and this is the thing that really pisses me off. Like, why do we need 50 soccer teams? It's just idiotic. Okay.
While like you have like what the Premier League has like 20 teams so you can catch up with, and most of them are like localized. Like there's like at least 5, 6 London teams to know, and most of them have their own history. While like, oh, there's a new Toronto team, there's a new St. Louis FC just came out, and now they have San Diego FC, and now you have to catch up with that. And like what, like 14 teams can make the playoffs.
Yeah. So
That's not a good structure to recognize your
I
league.
know. So basically, an idea is like this. So the top 5 teams, qualify in their bracket, that quarterfinals, semis, and then finals. It's a single elimination. Keep it simple.
Mm.
So basically, like the number 6, 7, and 8 basically are like they're promoted to a playoff, and then like the number 10 and 9 uh play a single elimination, and then the winner jumps into like this 4 team, and then like the best outcome of like the 3 teams immediate qualify. It does get a little bit crazy, but another idea is scrap the 10 team, and the number 6, 7, 8, and 9 uh they each play uh they each play 1 game, and then the 3 teams with the best outcome advance, and then that number 9 team is done, and then it's just like simple playoff. Keep it simple, don't overcomplicate it. But then you do make that like that, that 6, 7, 8, and 9, like if you're like Eric Winalda, we need games that matter. Those games will matter. Like 4 teams trying to fight for 3 spots. Think about that. Think about
So would you still appoint relegation And will like the league be shortened? So we'll have it like how the USL wants to do, because the USL is trying to push you over to a format, but they don't have the promotion of like a mainstream
So,
pipeline like the
so
MLS.
here's the problem that I've been hearing from people who actually know the business. If promotion and relegation was so easy to be done in the United States, we would have done it years ago. The problem is that in the USL, these markets are not like the MLS. So I'm going to use the USL. The USL one, or like their championship league, and then you have the one, two. The twos and the ones, do they really have the capital to sustain moving up? And if you're at the champions and you move down and you're an owner that's like, why am I playing teams that technically are amateurs? It doesn't incentivize me. And so that's the problem when it comes to promotion and relegation. If you want to do that, you have to incentivize owners. Like, what are the positives and negatives? What are the negatives that you'll be okay if your team falls down to a next division? When it comes to MLS, you have owners who have invested billions of dollars. Where are you going to, first of all, where are you going to be relegated? Are you going to put a team in MLS that are way better than these USL teams and will destroy all competitions, will make no goddamn sense?
Oh yeah.
This is the thing that all these soccer fans do not understand. Say, for example, Inter Miami, you have Lionel Messi and all those old farts like Luis Suarez and yada yada.
Fat Luis Suarez. To be fair, that's one of my favorite players. I'm not gonna
And
lie.
then
Okay, I'm not.
hypothetically, they get relegated. Do you really think Lionel Messi will be playing with like pro amateur and like a few professionals? Hell the fuck no. Hell the fuck
It's gonna
no.
lose you money.
Okay. And do you really think that they have, like, the owners have like the seat ability, and are they going to overcharge this league, the money? Because again, sports, and this is not an American thing, it's even in Europe. They do raise prices on tickets. Like, people think, oh, in Europe you get to go in the stadium and watch a championship, the Champions League, and you still pay a ticket and you pay their merchandise. Okay, it's not an American thing. Okay, but here's the purpose. If you want promotion and relegation to happen, MLS has to create another MLS where the owners also own their MLS team and own a second division team. And so what they can do is, if a team moves up, you can just switch the players. But then again, but it doesn't really work that way, because again, it's so confusing to do. Last but not least, competition. When you look at the Premier League, the bottom teams in the Premier League are garbage.
Oh yeah.
They're
Facts.
so garbage that they're losing. Oh, but they're in the Premier League. And so competition. So when it comes to soccer fans, competition doesn't matter. It's like, oh, it's a moral principle. It's a moral principle. You have to give ass players a chance for like one season to play. So basically, it's like this. Let's put minor league teams against professional teams.
In the MLB.
And so this is the thing that they don't understand. Yes, for 1 week out of the year, people will watch teams are like biting their nails and watching like, oh crap, I hope my team doesn't fall down, or oh, I hope my team moves up. That's probably like the only entertainment value. And last but not least, soccer fans are gonna hate this. Americans don't like soccer. And when I mean they don't like soccer, they don't invest their money, their time, and we don't see a lot of podcasts. Oh yeah, for example, I'm a San Jose Earthquake, and you have like 50 other San Jose Earthquake podcasters. Like, no, we're not invested. We're not invested. The people who cover soccer cover Europe. They don't cover America.
Oh yeah, they cover the Premier League. They'll cover Real Madrid before they cover New York FC, Red Bulls, Real Salt Lake, Toronto FC. There is some Toronto FC fans, but they won't cover. They're gonna try to monetize themselves, trying to cover like Barcelona before they cover an MLS team.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, soccer in America will always be too complex to understand. It's just the reality. Yeah. So I do believe that the USL should do their thing. If they want to do pro rel, just like Tony Miola, like one of our goalkeepers of that early generation before MLS said, if you're the one clamoring on Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called, and you talk about we need pro rel, but then pro rel is established and then you're not invested. Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is. Don't ask for something that you're not going to be invested in. Okay. And the majority of the people who bitch and moan about this are people who don't understand the industry. It's the same thing why I quit podcasting of the 49ers. You have so many people who don't understand the business and the logistics. All people want to talk about is make clickbait videos about the 49ers. And then you have like the most stupidity of fans who like, yeah, he's validating my feelings. Okay, we're ass.
Yeah, but you don't know how ass, John Jay. We are this ass that everybody's injured.
Yeah. You know, like Nick Bosa in college and in high school has always like, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I didn't want Nick Bosa. I wanted Quinnen Williams because we did not have a defensive tackle besides Buckner. Here's the thing. Nick Bosa, after his ACL, he came back strong. He didn't miss a beat. So from 2021, 2022, 2023, 24 consecutive seasons where he has not missed a game. And then he suffers a serious injury. 4 years in a row without a serious injury. Fred Warner, since he was drafted, he's played almost every game, finally suffers a serious injury. It takes a toll on these players. Okay? And then as long as we have a garbage offensive line, and I don't want to hear any bullshit from any fake 49er fans, Jimmy Garoppolo, you can say whatever you want about him. I really do not care. But our offensive line never protected him, and he got hurt all the time. Trey Lance's 4 games, he was always injured. That preseason game, before the season started, he broke his finger. That Cardinals game where Kyle Shanahan made him run 16 times, got hurt. That game against the Texans, got hurt. The game against
most of the time it was in the pocket.
The game against Chicago, got hurt. Besides losing, and then the sad part, Kyle Shanahan made him run up the middle. He got tackled, landed wrong or whatever, out for the year. Brock Purdy in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles, which little Spongy will never stop reminding me. River Craycraft or whatever his name, Craycraft, was too small and was not a blocking tight end. And Hassan Reddick just went by him. And then Hassan Reddick basically like during a throwing motion, busted Brock Purdy's UCL. Okay. And so we need to stop saying that Jimmy Garoppolo was garbage. He was just hurt.
He was not bad. He was super promising, and he got us over to a undefeated streak. His first career start for the Niners after we had him. Well, technically, we had him bubble wrapped after he came from his injury with New England after the trade.
So
Garoppolo was a serviceable quarterback.
Yeah. And so, and I don't want to say this because I don't want to say that 49er fans are anti, certain groups of people, but they really showed that, oh, you wanted Trey Lance to fail because he was a man of, a certain,
he was a person of color,
yeah.
and yeah, and the stereotype with quarterbacks of that diversity only have one thing going for them.
So
Don't try to feed into ignorance.
yeah, so that's the problem. And again, most of the people who like, I think as the years have gone by, you know,
Mhm.
a lot of the stupid 49er fans that have left, and the ones who like they still bicker are not as bad as they were like in the first couple of years. Because when a lot of people started podcasting, you had so many people that weren't going to work. Everyone knew what happened during that time period, and the world didn't get back to normal until like a couple of years later. And so by 2023, people started to like stay home less. But it is what it is. I have no regrets. I enjoyed my time. I got to develop people like YTC, who's a Giants fan. I know Michael is a little bit of piece of work. I don't hate the kid. He's just a little bit, he's a child. He's still a child, mentally. Let's see who else did I meet. Yeah, you. Let's see who else. Get on kid who recently I met about over a year ago. Funny dude. He's very funny, very outspoken, a little bit too much sometimes. I don't hate him. He's good.
That's a nice way to say it.
Mac Ultra, the Patriots fan
Ultra.
who's from the South, who even though like I'm from where I am, like one time he said, "You kind of sound a little bit country." Yeah, because I had a foster family who originated from the South, so they taught me certain lingos and certain terminologies.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and I consider them not just like people who like I consider them family because they did so much for me during a rough time of my life. So even though I'm not related to them by blood, I owe them a lot because they saved me during some tough times. And so let's see what else. Let's see.
There's a big one coming.
It's the awesome kid. Like YTC said when he met him, like he was more annoying. But I have no ill will towards Awesome Kid. I know he always reminds me about the 2019 Warriors team. It's
Oh boy.
TRL.
Oh boy.
TRL. I like him. I know he's a little bit more like on the right side of because he always shits on uh people who live where I live. And again, I don't hate TRL. Some people are just more on the right when it comes to their opinions, but he's treated me with respect. He's never done anything. So I have a lot of respect for him. RJ and CEO, I don't really interact with them as I used to. And of course, the great Corey Davis, who
There we go.
I was so privileged and honored to have met the guy and actually sat down with him. It's just too bad that we lost him way too soon in life, but he was going through health concerns and life sometimes gives you the wrong, like you're just born and like you're going to have health issues for your whole life. And sometimes it's difficult, and in a country like America where we can't take care of our own people, we lose people like Corey Davis way too young. And last but not least, David McNiner, Tommy Huxley. There's a guy called Terradome. I don't think you've ever met him. Let's see,
Corona.
Terradome. Who else? Papa J, who recently started hanging out with us. Of course, Bebop, who's always in the chat. Crazy Juice, who I've never spoken to, but I know him. There's a guy called Beto. He was a friend of Corey. Recently getting to know Kenny, who's like very hilarious. He said he's from New Jersey. Makes a lot of sense. And of course,
But
like the Copes, like Brian and his wonderful family. We don't talk as much as we used to. We parted our own ways. I wish him well. I don't know if he's watching, but like we parted ways. But I still consider him someone. If he ever wants to, like, bridge the gap again, sure, why not? And of course, all the haters like Jim Everett, the bastard. You may talk shit and you may do your thing, but hey, that's a troll.
Shout out to Jagganoff. Shout out to Jagganoff.
And of course, he's not here, and I don't want to forget him. David Corona.
Shout out to David Corona.
So let's see, and of course, all the other podcasters, which I can't think about their names. Shout out to all of them, but no regrets. No regrets.
All appreciation from all those content creators. You, John Jay, for being here, man. Blessed to be here, man. Another day in the light, man. But we covered a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna close off here and get some dinner prepared.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
Congratulations to John Jay and everybody over here. Thank you for coming into the DST show. I'm gonna close it off. You guys have a great Sunday. Can't wait